So without further ado, my two superstar friends, Electro Woman and Dyna Girl.
Electro Woman and Dyna Girl.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how that worked out.
Jessica and Cameron.
You and I were
builders of construction. So Katie asked us to come and tell you guys about Hawaii because we happen to go to Hawaii. Can I tell them why we went to Hawaii?
Sure.
So we went to Hawaii because it was Amber's 50th birthday. And her Bessie friend Ed was also turning 50 at the same time, so we scheduled a trip to Hawaii, which they were there for 2 weeks, and I was only there for 1 week. So if you're interested in pictures or information or anything about Oahu, which is a different island, that's where Amber was. I was only on the Big Island. So if you look at your little map, right, here's Oahu, that's where Amber was for a week. And then she flew over to here, the Big Island, which is also called Hawaii, which is where all our adventures occurred. So it was us and a couple of friends traveling all over the island. And so really we're just going to show you sort of where we went, give you some information. If you got a little handout, this is sort of just info about some of the main places we went. I'm not going to spend time on the formation of the islands, other than I will tell you this story. Now, this was the second time we went to Hawaii. The first time we went to Hawaii, we went to Volcanoes National Park, which is on the volcano. And I know there was a guy there, he was asking one of the women at the desk, he said, how safe is it? Can we walk out? Where's the lava to walk out to? Because at that point, you could walk out and you could watch the lava flows, right? Which was pretty cool. And so she was kind of telling him, and he's like, well, at what point is it unsafe? Like, where are you when you're on the volcano? How do you know? And she looked at him and she said, sir, this whole island is a volcano. You've been on a volcano since you landed here. So it's important to keep in mind, right? That and what I didn't know until I went this time, I thought there was a couple volcanoes. There's actually 5 that make up the main island, 3 of which are still technically considered active. So, and one of which is currently erupting, which is Kilauea, which is one of the longest running eruptions ever. And then it stopped for a few years. Then it kicked back on, stopped for a little bit, and now it's kicked back on. So anyway, that about the formation of the islands. But where did we go and what did we see? I just want to show you some of the highlights because Amber took tons of cool pictures. So
My tech is no longer.
your tech is no longer advancing. Okay. So this is just kind of what we did in our days. Is this auto advancing?
No.
Okay. So the first place we went was, this is a park. And it is, if I'm careful, I can pronounce it, Pu'u Hanua o Hunau. So a Pu'u Hanua in general is a place of refuge. And so if you go back to before Hawaii was colonized, the culture there basically was run by chiefs and religious leaders. And breaking religious taboos or rules was a really big deal. So kapu, if you ever see the word kapu in Hawaii, it means do not, right? Do not cross, do not touch. If you had done such a thing, and you were going to get in trouble, which the punishments were pretty harsh, up to and including death, if you ran far enough and got to one of these places before they got you, you could be saved. Okay, so this was a place of refuge. You would go there, you would have a religious forgiveness ceremony, understand the error of your ways, and be allowed back into society. Now, if you did not get there in time, they would kill you. So, it's kind of a race for time. These were also considered sacred sites, just in general. And this one in particular was where royalty used to live. So this is actually a fairly large chunk of land, and it has been restored. So when you see the buildings and the carvings and stuff, they've been restored and updated, but a lot of that's actually there. Like some of the wall, like this wall, some of this is still the original wall that they built back in, 1800s. So it's just kind of a cool place in general. These are also places women and children would go during war times. So they're considered sacred places. If you're inside there, you can't be touched. Another interesting thing about these is that the island was divided into different regions. Each region has its own. So there's one for each region. So we actually ended up going to another one, which we don't have pictures of, but there's a little tiny place called Coconut Island, which is an island with just coconut trees on it. It's about as big as maybe the library, right? But it's attached to the land with a little bridge. That was another one of these. So these 8 sacred areas. So we went there, right? It's beautiful. Saw a sea cucumber, which I was very excited about. I've never seen one. In fact, we didn't know if it was a sea cucumber or a sea slug because it was a thing, and we don't know. So we were having a debate amongst ourselves. We're trying to look it up. We're like, what is it? How do you tell the difference? I'm trying to look it up. I don't know. How do you tell the difference? And we just so happened to have a woman nearby who said, I can tell you. And so she did. She's like, I'm a marine biologist and invertebrates are my specialty. I get so excited when somebody's interested in invertebrates. I was like, well, here you go. I said, she's like, I don't want to nerd you out. She's like, we like the nerdy stuff. You lay it on us. So we learned that's actually sea cucumber is what it was. So it's a beautiful, it's a fairly large park. It's got the carvings. It's a beautiful place. It was a good way to kick off our trip. It's very typically Hawaiian, you know. When you look at this, you go, oh, that looks like Hawaii. Yep, pretty much. And I don't know.
I was fascinated with the palm trees.
Yeah, she got a lot of palm tree photos.
As you could tell.
Right. So there's a lot of history there. Like I said, Hawaiian royalty used to live there. So it's just a cool park. So we went there for part of our day. We have some pictures here. This was a beach near our hotel. It's probably about 5 or 6 miles down the road from our hotel. And it's not any particularly special beach. It's just an average run-of-the-mill beach that looks like that at sunset. So we went there for sunset. I think these are photos from 2 different days. Same beach, 2 different days. And it's just so, this is like hashtag no filter, right? This is how it is. We didn't manipulate these images at all. And people just show up, which was kind of funny. It's like we went there, we're like, we should at least catch a sunset. So we all go to catch the sunset. People are showing up just to do that. They show up, they sit on the walls, they sit on the beach to watch the sunset, and then they go home. Like, it's the thing that you do, because it's cool, because it's beautiful. Oh, yeah.
I like that saying, same beach, different day.
Same beach, different day.
It's a lifestyle.
It is. It is. Yeah. And it is. I mean, I will tell you, from my perspective, Hawaii is as much of a different culture as you can get to and still be in the United States. There is a very different cultural approach. The phrase Hawaiian time is for real. You get around to things when you get around to things. And you got to be able to roll with that, right? Like the first time we went, we offended people twice by asking when something was going to happen. We're like, when? We wanted to buy, remember we were gonna try to buy a shell from a guy who he gets them and polishes them. He would dive and get these things, and that's how he made his living. And we're like, I didn't have my money, so I'm like, well, we got to go back to the resort. I want to buy these, but he needed cash. How long are you going to be here till? Well, till the boat leaves, because there's a tourist boat that comes here. And when does that happen? In the evening. Like 5? And he was the first of 2 people who said this to us. We realized we were being jerks. He looked at us, he said, do you need me to be here at 5? Because if you need me to be here at 5, I will be. And he wasn't quite that sarcastic, but that was, like, don't, Yeah.
That was the first time.
That was the first time we went, not this time. But it's kind of the same. Like, I took a picture this time that says there was a place. We're open from 7 a.m. till sunset. Whenever, right? But that is a thing. If you do plan to go, by the way, be aware that island closes around 6. It gets dark around 6. Now, this blew my little Midwest brain, because when it's warm and sunny, it's sunny until 9 o'clock at night. No, not when you're on the equator. It is dark every day at 6. And most places, I'm sure there's probably some bars and stuff that stay open that we didn't go to, but most places shut down around 6 or 7. So like when it's 10 o'clock at night, we're like, where are we going to eat? Nope.
Too late.
Too late. You missed your window.
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. Yeah. And I think it was even like 8:30, I think, where we're like, oh, we're done with our day. No, too late. So just be aware. Yes.
So does the day start early then?
Yeah, around 7. Yeah.
That's
It's not crazy early. Well, the sun rises around 6 and sets around 6, like 6:30. That's when people get up and people go with the sunrise and sunset. So we're busy during daylight hours, during evening hours.
Well, and they often close if there's good surfing.
True.
If it's a business, sometimes they just close down.
They may close.
Good surfing.
Yeah, it was good surf today, or the schools have been known to close if there's really good surf.
Yeah.
Now, the first time we went, which was not this time, the locals we talked to, they're like, yeah, we're pretty happy we just got a Wendy's in town. Of course, they close during lunch. Nobody wants to work during lunch. Nobody wants to
great.
lunch.
And
So-
they serve spam.
And they serve Spam. Yeah, Spam's a big food there.
Yeah.
So things to know about Hawaii if you go, and that's the biggest one is it's going to get dark if you're from here. It's going to get dark way earlier than you think it should, and everything is going to stop. So, okay, so then I don't remember which day, but one of the earlier days we decided to go to. There's a lot of beaches, obviously, a lot of beaches to choose from. There's a beach in Hawaii which is called the Green Sand Beach, or technically, I wrote down the name, Papakolea is the Green Sand Beach. Because its sand is technically green. Now, it's not super green, but it's green. And what we learned was there's only 4 green sand beaches in the world. And this is the only one in the United States. So we decided we better go to this, right? It's not easy to get to. It's very remote.
We had to hike about an hour.
Yeah, we had, at least. Probably an hour and a half.
Okay, so
They say it's a 2.5 hour hike, and they tell us, I'll let you tell your story, but they tell us there are people who will give you rides, but you're not supposed to take the rides because it's culturally insensitive, it's damaging to the land, and it's illegal. Don't take a ride. So we're like, we're good people. We're walking. Right? And I like hiking, and they're like, it's relatively flat, and this was part of our hike, right? It's beautiful. That said, I had this.
she has the sciatica, and I had a foot thing.
She's got a plantar fasciitis, so
Yeah,
she's been walking on her toes for a week.
So we were lovely old ladies and hobbling along on the trail.
Uh-huh.
And our 2 good friends decide there's no way these guys are going to make it. We're going to book ahead of them, and we're going to see it just in case.
Right.
But I don't know what they were thinking because they don't know me very well.
No, they
There's
don't
no
know
way
you.
I'm not going to make it to the
She's like, are you kidding? One of the 4 green sand
I'm going to
beaches?
crawl.
I'm
That's
going.
what I said, I'm going to crawl. So we're going, and then this 70-year-old couple that's from like Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
They're hiking in front
They're
of
like,
us.
oh,
and I'm
nice to meet you. They lap us. They're like,
we're like, dang! And then we get going, and some of the rides are coming back because they had picked up people. And they're like, you're almost there! We're
Yeah.
like a mile away.
yeah, you're almost there.
I'm like, no, we're
It's
not
just over
almost
that
there.
hill.
I'm like,
You
what
mean that hill
I
in the
can't even see
distance?
it. So we get there, and then,
Yeah, you gotta.
well, this is our
This
lovely
is the walk. Now,
These are
this
the
was
pictures we took.
stunning, right? It was stunning. And there's lots of paths you can take because there's lots of different paths the roads, the cars have made. But we chose to walk along the.
But here's the Green Sand Beach.
Yeah.
So you gotta go down this, okay?
So we're coming
I'm
from here.
deathly afraid of
Now see
heights.
the people. That's the size of the people.
Yes.
That's the cliff you go down.
I'm scared of heights. We get there after this long hike, and Ed and Sarah get down on the beach, and they're having a great time. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, okay.
We're like 10 minutes out. As soon as we see it, she's like,
Oh my
I
God.
don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it.
I
I'm
gotta
like,
get down.
that's
I gotta do
fine.
it.
And then we see Ed and Sarah going down. We're like,
I'm like, they're going down. I gotta go.
I said, if you don't want to go, that's fine. You don't have to go.
But I'm not gonna hike a whole hour out to this beach. There's only 4 in the world and not go down and touch the water. So we're at the top of this thing. We start to go down, and I said to her, I think I'm gonna cry.
Then cry.
And I'm sure it's an ugly cry. And I'm saying crazy stuff like, please don't die. Don't fall off. To her, as we're going down this thing.
It was a complete sobbing hysterical.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. And let me tell you.
Swam in that water, and I stepped on
Yes,
that beach.
you did.
Because that's how I do.
Yes. You did. The first part, you go down, I mean, you can see kind of the little etching. You go down a little shelf, but then the only way to get to the next level, which is not that bad to walk from after that, is a ladder that was made of
It's kind of stuck
driftwood
in
and
the-
originally metal that was stuck in the wall, but now has kind of rusted out and is lashed together with a variety of other things and pipes. And you have to walk backwards down it. It doesn't look
the
sturdy.
rungs are about this wide.
Yeah. Well, they were.
Well, in my
In
brain,
her brain,
everything was
in her
bigger
brain, we
than
were
it.
this far from death the whole way
The
down
whole
the
way as
cliff.
I'm bawling,
Yeah.
ugly crying.
But we made it. We made
Okay.
it. So and so the sand is. I mean, you can see it's green, but it's not Like when we told we're going to go to the green sand beach, and Sarah's like, I was thinking like emerald, but no, it's olive. And that is because, I mean, internally I have this little write-up here, but what causes this? So the nook here was a cinder cone from the Mauna Loa volcano that blew about, according to people, 49,000 years ago. And sometimes lava, I mean, usually lava contains the black lava rock. We see a lot of that in Hawaii. But sometimes it also contains this other mineral called olivine. And olivine is heavier. So if you have an eruption that happened to have a lot of olivine, and it's in just the right bay, like this, the water will come in and it washes, the actual black lava stone tends to be lighter, so it'll wash out, and the olivine stays more deposited. So it looks kind of like green gold when we were there. It's really beautiful, and it was very hard to catch it in a picture. But it was really beautiful. It's also dangerous, right? There's no lifeguards. I mean, they tell you can swim. And I will tell you, 3/4 of the way there, I said, I know it's wrong, but if those trucks take credit cards, I'm riding. Which they did, and we did, right? And actually, there was a girl riding the truck who had tried, since we have this picture, she had tried to swim out. They were trying to swim out here and go around because there's another little niche on the other side. And she got trapped on the rocks and was getting smashed on the rocks and almost drowned. And her friends managed to pull her off. So definitely not a safe beach for swimming, but very cool. Worth the walk. And then we ride back, you know, it's a totally rutted, crazy ride. And so they have these 4x4s with just like the metal bars around the side, so everyone's just hanging on, right? As we just like, yeah. But we did it. We did it. So that was cool. And then we went, after getting some food, we went to the black sand beach, which is, there's a lot, now in Hawaii there's many black sand beaches, because it's common, right? You have a lot of lava, it reaches the shore, grinds up. I will tell you the texture is really different, right? The green sand beach was very much like sand. The black sand beach, that's very rough. It's very, you know, that's light porous lava rock. So it's pretty rough. I mean, it's not uncomfortable, it's actually kind of cool, massages your feet, but. So this one is one of the more well-known. It's very easy, unlike the green sand beach. This one's very easy to get to. You just drive in, and you're right there. And it's pretty popular. Very often has turtles that come up and sun themselves on the beach. They weren't there, but we got there in the evening. So that was a fun, you know, black sand beaches. Like I said, there's a lot of them, but it's a really nice one. And then, let me see. What else do we have pictures of? Oh, then we went to the volcano. So this is a steam vent up near the top of the volcano.
And all of those are steam.
And that's all just steam. So that vent was one of two that they just have bars around so you can actually get up close to it and you can look down the steam vent. And as I recall, the first time we were there, I remember the steam being warm. I don't know if I misremembered or not, but this time the steam is hot. But last time it was not erupting, and this time it was. So I don't know if it's because lava is closer to the surface and the steam is hotter. I don't really know. So so you can walk on the rim of the crater. So this is Kilauea, and you get to walk around the crater rim, and you can see that's the steam from the eruption. As it got darker, all of that is the glow because there's a pit of lava at the bottom. So as it got darker, the lava started to glow up onto the clouds. But there's this wide expanse. So this is all the crater. And then in 2018, the edge of the crater collapsed. So that huge chasm down is relatively new from the 2018 eruption. And so you can see this used to be much more flat. And so it kind of collapsed here, and then it collapsed here. Yeah, and people used to be able to walk out on the crater. You can't do that right now. So it collapsed multiple places in 2018. There was a lava chamber that exited and caused the land to go down. I think they said, I forget how many feet. I won't say because I get the number wrong, but it collapsed quite a bit. And then the lava pool is over here. Now this particular eruption is just filling up this chamber. So it's not flowing anywhere. It's not going anywhere right now. It's just filling up the primary crater. And we were told if it continues at this rate, because you can't see the lava right now from the rim. But if it continues at this rate, we were told in 3 to 5 months, you'll be able to stand where we're standing and actually see the lava.
Holy cow.
If it continues the way it is.
And then it will spill over.
Eventually, it could spill over, yeah. So as it got dark, like I said, you can start to see this glow, which you could see for miles away. So as we were driving away, we got done with this and we decided to go back home to the hotel. And, Saren's like, oh my God, you guys, I can see the volcano from here. And we're like, no way. It's like, okay, I don't know how many of you know Saren. A,
She's a jokester.
we were quite a ways away. B, she tells stories. So we're like, nuh-uh, you're just messing with us. And she's like, okay, but I can totally see the volcano from here. So she finally looks, she's like, oh my God, pull over. So we pull over on the side of this road and turn off all our lights. And you see this glow, it's like 2 miles away. And then you have all these stars, right? Because the sky is so clear and there's nothing there, there's no lights. So it was really cool, which we wouldn't have known about if Saren hadn't told us. And she likes to remind us that we did in fact ignore her. And we like to remind her that maybe she shouldn't tell so many stories.
So how many people fall in?
Not many, because they don't let you very close. You can get close, and they have signs basically saying all the edges are undercut. Don't go close to them. So I'm sure people do.
Because every once in a while you hear it on the news and somebody
falls off a
I
cliff.
went close to look for the lava and they fell in.
Right.
Oil.
And I mean, at this point right now, getting to that lava is actually, from where the park is really super hard. Like, you can't get above the lava pit right now. But if it expands, I'm sure, people don't think about things. So, okay, so this is one of our, when Amber goes here, she's been to Hawaii 3 times, I've been twice. This is a church, it's called the Painted Church. You can see the art. It's St. Benedict's Painted Church, it's a Catholic church. I have some information in your write-up here. So the painting was done by a priest who wanted to make the church, more approachable and acceptable to the native population, because, they're missionaries, so do what missionaries do, which we may not find always culturally acceptable, but that's what missionaries did. They went out to spread the word. So he painted the images, and he had 0 training. He had no training in art. He'd never painted before. And he did all these paintings. And then I don't know if you can see, when we were there this time, there's these words written on the posts. And we asked a woman who was there, who runs the church, and this is still an active church, by the way. People still congregate here. She said, oh, those are basically chants of protection. Because the native islanders were afraid. What's that?
I thought they were exorcism rites.
Yes, that's the word I wanted. It wasn't
Exorcism rites.
They're exorcism rites. To keep the native spirits away, so that the native islanders were afraid if they came here and talked to this god, that their gods would get angry. So those were exorcism rites to banish their gods from giving them trouble if they tried to listen to this story. So it was, and there's a lot of incorporation of culture. There's a lot of palm trees painted on the ceiling, and then there's statues on the grounds. They have a whole grounds. They have gardens. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. The road to get to it is crazy. I mean, keep in mind also if you go to Hawaii, you have to rent a car to get anywhere and do anything. And nothing's flat. And they have no hesitation at all about having roads with complete drop-offs on one side. There's now on the other hand, the speed limit on the island mostly is 45. So we're actually pretty excited this time. We found a highway with 60 miles an hour. Okay, so those are paintings. We went whale watching. We saw whales. So there's not much else to say about that. It's super cool. The company we work with is awesome. They had a marine biologist on board. The first batch of photos you saw were actually a pair of males that were busy fighting each other for access to a girl. They said they'll do that for hours. These battles will go on for a very long time. So that's why he's got his fin out. They're smacking each other with their fins to get access to the girl. Second batch of photos is a mama and a baby, because humpbacks go there that time of year to have their kids and mate. And she said that's really all they're doing. Right? There's no food there. They don't eat there. They just have kids and have sex and go home. That's their focus. So Amber got a bit of a video. And they don't have to be very close to be very impressive. They're scary. They were pretty close. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And you don't know they're coming. And then all of a sudden, there they are, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's it. This is a gardens. It's a beautiful gardens. It's right near the Painted Church. It's on the same road. There's a lot of beautiful gardens in Hawaii. This one is dedicated to tributes to all different faiths. It's called the Peace Garden. And so they have shrines all across the grounds that have been constructed by different artists with different religious beliefs. So they have shrines with a tribute to pretty much all of the primary faiths on the planet. So I think that's, I don't remember which is which. I want to say this is Hindu. They have some that are, they have all the different faiths represented, basically. So as you walk through the grounds, you see these different faiths represented. That's native. That one is, dang it.
My word is
England.
So
It's
not Druid.
the same faith, Druid type faith. It's not the same faith. Pagan, thank you. Word's not coming to me. Anyway, so it's just beautiful. You just walk around the grounds. It's a tribute to, and the woman who has owned that land, this is her life mission, is to make a place of peace, and it is. It is incredibly peaceful there.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful there. And then, there's one spot, it's really hard to see here, but there are terraglyphs. There are ancient drawings. This is a lava tube. So there's a lot of lava tubes. There's a lot of tubes where the lava used to run, so there's tunnels. And the natives would use that for shelter and protection. So down in there, they had drawn some drawings in the past. So yeah, it's just a really cool place if you have a chance to go. Then we went to the other side of the island, which is so we were on the Kona side, which is the main touristy area. It doesn't get a lot of rain. The other side, Hilo, gets a lot of rain. And that's where most of the waterfalls are. So we went that's Rainbow Falls, which is called that because in the morning it tends to cast rainbows. I gave you the whole story about Maui and the great battle that helped to form the Rainbow Falls. Then we went upstream. So this is upstream from the Rainbow Falls. This is a place called the Boiling Pots. They got these big dips in the land. And when the water's full like this, it looks like it's boiling. But this is all part of a long drawn-out story about how there was a dragon who tried to hurt Maui's mother, and so Maui had to go defeat the dragon. And then he had to call Pele in for help to bring lava in down the river, which, a lot of these are lava flows that intrude on the river. So there's a whole story about how these rivers were formed. And there's a couple spots in there where, like for instance, this is a more recent lava flow that actually interfered with the flow of the original flow of the river. And back here is a pit underneath there where locals go swimming. So there's lots of people swimming back there. It's just beyond our skill set. Shameless selfie. So this is your video. So this is Rainbow Falls.
Yeah.
And then, so you go to Hawaii to see snow. So Ed was like, why am I cold? I came to Hawaii. Why am I cold? But we decided to go, one of the tours that you can take is you can go up to the top of Mauna Kea, which is the taller of the two mountains, and watch the sunset from the top of the mountain. And then they'll take you about halfway down, and then they do a star show, and you look at the stars.
Above the clouds.
Above the clouds. So you watch the sunset. You're above the clouds, and you watch the sunset down into the clouds, which is pretty cool. It's a long drive. It's a rough drive. And at the top, this also happens to be one of the best places for observatories. So there are a lot of observatories at the top of Mauna Kea. One of them was involved, and if any of you guys saw the picture of the black hole, they finally came out with a picture of a black hole. That was one of these observatories that was collecting that data. So there are top-notch observatories up there at the top of the world. Was it cold? Yes.
They provided parkas.
They gave us parkas and mittens, which was good. Where the observatories are, from our standards, was just cold. The top of the mountain had about 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it was about 0 degrees. It was cold. It was really cold.
Did they give you boots?
They did not give you
No,
boots. They
but
gave you
they
parka and
did.
gloves. So you got to plan for that. Yeah. So the sun is setting. This is just cool. This is the shadow of the mountain that is cast on the clouds by the sunset. So when you look one direction, you'll see the shadow form. And then you can look the other direction and you can see the sun actually set down in the clouds. So Amber took some panoramics, which is pretty cool. Those are all the real colors. Oh, that might be, is that your video? Very windy. But it was pretty cool. And I will tell you, the only nice thing that COVID has given us is way less people on this trip. Way less people on this trip. And then we have the finale of all the beautiful pictures of all the beautiful food from all the beautiful places that we eat because the food there is amazing.
And the drinks.
I should like to point out, this is a flight of pina colada flavors.
Yeah.
That was Amber's.
No, this one.
Pina colada flight.
We didn't get to do our wine thing lately.
What? What? You said this one.
Pina colada.
I'm feeling called out.
They were mine.
Yeah, they were yours. Everybody knows that.
What's the pie down there?
That's a key lime, mango key lime pie.
Mango key lime. What was that? There was this amazing flavor I'd never heard of. What was the flavor? Do you remember? It was your favorite flavor of your pina coladas, and then we had a pie of the same flavor. I don't remember.
I don't know. It was also yummy.
It was delicious. Oh, well, here's another thing we learned. Our favorite restaurant and the more affordable restaurants are on Hilo. So the Hilo side of the island is, because it's less touristy, is a little less pricey. So, just saying.
And that's the end.
That's it. That's what we got. There's your trip through Hawaii.
If
Makes you wanna
anybody wants a card, I have some photo, what are them? Business cards
Business
over
cards.
there. And some of these pictures are going to be on Flickr. I don't have them up yet, but I do have a Flickr page
Yeah.
with other pictures and videos that we didn't show here.
Right.
How did you